This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Mind the background work, there's a bit of work going on.
Let everyone know we are pre-presser, obviously, just setting up. You want to jump in first. I noticed that media were queuing outside, and you're already in it.
I queued, mate, I queued. I've been here since 10:15.
Why is everyone else outside then, waiting to get in, if you're already in it?
I don't know, I just saw you and I wandered in.
Oh, look, at the end of the day, if you feel that you're above the other members of the media, it's each to their own.
You think you're above God?
Not God, just every other promoter in the world.
Okay. Just before we get into specifics, this is where you announced Anthony Joshua.
You know, this used to be our favourite press conference venue. Obviously, Tower of London just there, nice and convenient for everybody. And yes, you are correct. This is the room that we announced another Olympic gold medalist, Anthony Joshua, to the Matchroom team. And today, we announced another Olympic gold medalist to the Matchroom and DAZN team. And of course, also the Lawrence Okoli press conference for February 27th show, Sunday, at the O2.
Okay, so Galal Yafai, Olympic gold medalist, becomes your latest acquisition. Hard work getting in, was it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that wins gold from any nation is a tremendous catch. Obviously, to sign a British Olympic gold medalist is a huge catch. You know, we did it in 2012 with Luke Campbell and Anthony Joshua, and we've done it again here, picking up the only gold male fighter from the Team GB team, probably the fighter of the tournament, and he was a massive target of ours, you know. And I think I said to some of the GB boys and girls, they've hit the jackpot in terms of what's happened with boxing at the moment. Obviously, with DAZN coming in, you know, Sky, Frank Warrer, and everybody else. So the deals that are on offer, it's an unbelievable opportunity for young fighters. You just have to be selective in terms of your investment. And I know with Galal Yafai, this kid is unbelievable. This kid is a guy who's going to go and win a world title, I believe, in 2-3 different divisions. And we're going to do something very different with Galal. You know, I think sometimes you have to stand out in a world where all these great young amateurs are turning professional. What are you going to do that's different? And with Galal, we're going Lomachenko style. I spoke to Maurizio Suleiman last night. Galal's debut will be a 10-round championship fight for the WBC international title on February the 27th. And we're going to go like a steam train through the division. We're not messing around with 6-rounders, 4-rounders, 8-rounders. He's starting off, his professional debut will be a championship fight. And we're going to move him at the speed his talent should be moved at. This is a young man that's had plenty of World Series of boxing experience. All these guys from Team GB, you've got Chev Clark over there as well, turning pro on February 27th. Same. They don't need 6, 7, 8, 6-rounders. Do you know what I mean? They're good enough to go on and start competing over championship distance. And Galal is going to do it from the debut, and that's a massive statement.
Could he be the best of the Yafai brothers, potentially? Obviously, that's a big statement considering kind of what, well, they both achieved.
Look, his amateur credentials are a lot more prolific than Cal and Gamal, but Cal went on and won a world title, defended it, 6 times? Gamal went on, won European titles on the road, tremendous fighter. So it's a brilliant family, and it was important to me personally to get Galal because, you know, Cal is a guy that we signed before the 2012 London Games. He was a Beijing Olympian. We went on and, you know, he won a world title, and, you know, he's still got plenty of fights left. Gamal is very important to us as well. We're bringing him back soon. So I wouldn't have want anybody else to get Galal Yafai, especially because of how good he is. So it was a major catch for us. And he's made 100% the right decision because he's going to box all over the world on the biggest shows all over the world. He's going to be moved at the right place by a team that really know what they're doing, the best promotional outfit in the world, a truly sensational global platform in DAZN. And Galal Yafai under us will be given every opportunity to achieve what he should achieve in the game, which is multiple world championships across multiple divisions.
Congratulations, I think it's a very good signing.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, before we come on to February 27th, your Sunday night boxing, we'll talk about that in a bit. Mate, excuse my French, what the fuck is going on, mate? Honestly, I swear to God, you lot are all in a room together, just like putting out like mixed messages, videos, just to kind of fuck with everyone's heads. Is that happening?
We're talking about the Fury stuff.
Talking about AJ, Fury, Usyk, Dillian Whyte.
No, is the answer. I mean, I think that it's a very confusing, I would say triangle, but there's 4 of them, you know, and quad, and you know, Tyson Fury's a walking contradiction, right? 1 minute he says, you're a coward, you're stepping aside, and then the next minute he's going, you're the worst businessman in the world, you've lost 90 million. Like,
why did he put that out?
I don't know. I mean,
what happened yesterday?
Nothing. Look, listen, the reality of the situation is, we would be willing to see a long-form agreement with a plan for AJ. Like, we're not even at that stage. Tyson Fury had the opportunity to discuss. Fury don't want to fight Usyk, in my opinion, because he had the opportunity to do it through these discussions. And really, when it came down to it, he really don't want to. What Fury wants to do is have a little easy one in March. That's what he really wants to do. Now, he's going to have to fight Dillian Whyte. And by the way, after all this kerfuffle, he'll get beat by Dillian Whyte. He'll get knocked out by Dillian Whyte. But the reality is, when it really came down to it, he never wanted to fight Alexander Usyk, because he could have gone straight into a fight with Alexander Usyk, but he didn't want to go straight into a fight with Alexander Usyk. But you won't ever hear that, and the public won't ever hear that. You'll just hear Fury on Instagram screaming and shouting with smoke and mirrors. So, like, right now, there's a purse bid tomorrow. I'm very confident, and all the other times I've said I believe it will be delayed. I'm very confident there'll be a bid tomorrow for Fury against Whyte. And I believe that's the fight that will happen next.
Okay, so as it currently stands today, on Thursday at whatever time it is, 12 o'clock, are you saying that Tyson Fury against Alexander Usyk is now off the table?
It's not. I don't believe it's off the table, because people are still discussing it. That's not a deal that I've necessarily put together. We have been approached with a plan, and you know, from my point of view, I'm saying that I would be willing to see a long-form agreement to look at some kind of plan that would give AJ the opportunity to fight a winner of Fury against Usyk for the best heavyweight in the world tag, right? But the reality is that Tyson Fury is the one that has decided really that he doesn't want to fight Usyk next. Whether he tells you that or not, that is the truth. He was not willing to fight Alexander Usyk next for undisputed, because he wanted to fight first in March against someone else. Now he wants to fight Dillian Whyte. He changes his mind every day. So, I don't, you know, we just, you know, this whole thing was, a lot of people were putting pressure on us saying, do this. And I said, well, look, we'll look at that. So, we'll see what happens.
Where would this situation have left Dillian Whyte had a deal been agreed for Fury to fight Usyk? What would have Dillian Whyte have done?
He was in that whole discussion. So there's an opportunity for him to fight, and then he gets a shot. You know, the WBC title is a problem for that route, because Dillian Whyte is not going to step aside for 2 shots, like 2 fights. It's impossible. But when Fury decided he didn't want to fight Usyk in his next fight, which he should have done, then the whole thing doesn't really work anyway. So I can't really tell you where that picture is at, other than we're preparing a bid tomorrow, because I think purse bids will take place.
In regards to Anthony Joshua, he put a video out the other day saying, don't listen to this bullshit if you hear it from me, or I haven't seen any contracts, etc. In your discussions with him, we know you was with him yesterday, how close was he to actually accepting a step aside to allow that Fury-Usyk fight to happen?
I was in a position where we would be willing to look at an agreement. It's more than a step aside money, it's the plan to fight the best heavyweight in the world. If he fights Usyk in May and wins, would you say he's the best heavyweight in the world? No, you'd say no, because you'd think Tyson Fury was, right? Because especially, you know. So then, but if he fights the winner of Usyk against Fury and beats him, would you say he's the best heavyweight in the world? I'll speed up, will you?
Well,
yes,
look,
you
yeah, okay, but all right, but you're like agenda-driven with these questions. So, what are you doing? Just answer your own questions.
It's a way for him to find out, you know, no questions asked, who's the best heavyweight in the world. So, were we willing to see a long-form contract to see if there was a model that made sense? Yes. Right? It's like, But again, it's like Usyk, Fury would have to fight Usyk. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh. When it comes down to it, don't fancy it. He'll say, do something on Instagram. Oh, Eddie Hearn's talking box. The reality is, tell the truth, you weren't willing to fight Alexander Usyk next. So the whole thing is kind of irrelevant. And once that purse bid takes place between Fury and Whyte, the whole thing breaks down anyway. So,
How accurate was the 15 million reported as that step aside? Was that accurate?
As AJ said, there was nothing agreed in that respect.
So where did the 15 million come from?
Because people talk, I heard of it all the time. People come up to me, oh, I've heard it's this, I've heard it's this, I've heard it's this. And that's why AJ come out. So wait till you hear it from me. So, he signed no contract. So, and when that came out, he wanted to address everybody and say this is the situation. But
do you wait until after tomorrow's purse bid to start talks again about the rematch with Alexander Usyk with Joshua?
No, that's, I've said the whole time, at the moment, that's the plan. If there's a discussion for something else, we'll look at all eventualities for the benefit of Anthony Joshua's career. But if everybody else is not on board, there's not a lot you can do about it.
Are you saying it's impossible for this bid tomorrow to be further delayed?
No, the bid can be delayed. But right now, as I interview you, my feeling is, as I interview you, or you interview, well, actually, a bit of both, I believe it will happen. For the first time, I believe it will happen.
Okay, so this bid is taking place at what time tomorrow?
6 p.m. UK time.
Okay. And if it is going to be delayed, you'll hear about that when? Tonight, or?
Could be tonight, could be 5 minutes before the purse bid. If Fury changes his mind, if someone changes their mind, I don't know,
If you're confused...
I'm not really confused.
You know more information than you'd let on anyway.
But also, you just hear a lot of bullshit, a lot of bluster.
Okay, so just the last one on this. How do you think this whole situation right now pans out, including all them fighters?
I don't. Right now, I think Fury will fight Whyte. I think AJ will fight Usyk. If you would have asked me that yesterday, I might have told you something different. But where were you yesterday? So...
I tried for yesterday.
No, but look, anything can happen at any time. But don't always believe the, this and this, I'll fight you, I'll fight any man, well, yeah. And actually, you won't really, will you? So...
Any decisions regarding Joshua's training team?
Not top of the priority list at the moment while we're sorting everything out, but it's all, in play. I think that's part of the discussion about, having an interim bout is getting the sort of training environment right in which he wants to work in for the next fight. So that was part of the mindset of the discussions. But when I met with AJ yesterday, pretty straightforward. I don't want to. I've told you all along. He don't want to step aside. But if there's a route that is beneficial for his career, he will consider it if everything in that contract is suitable to AJ and the team.
Sorry, one more question. We still don't know, but if, for example, Fury was to fight Usyk, would Joshua and Dillian Whyte both take interim fights? Was that the plan?
Yes.
But not against each other?
It hasn't been discussed. Could happen. Unlikely. I think if Dillian Whyte is going to be in a position where he's got his shot straight after that fight, or AJ is going to work with a new training team, I'm not saying, I know they're different kind of fights, but if he's going to fight Dillian Whyte, might as well fight Usyk. It's just, I know Usyk is different kind of style, etc., but they're both fucking really, really tough fights. I think they would both have interim fights. Probably unlikely against each other. At this stage, mate, I wouldn't rule anything out.
Are you very, very confident that if the bid goes ahead tomorrow, you'll win it?
No, not really. I mean, who knows? We'll be ready. We'll have our ammo ready. We'll send our 10% deposit in. It's a bit painful.
But what do you do? It's 10%.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And then see what happens. Love to win it. Love to promote that fight.
Okay. Can I ask you about Canelo? There's reports of kind of a deal he's been offered from Al Heyman, and then a deal he's been offered from yourself, a 2-fight deal. Could you make a comment on that?
Yeah, we've definitely been in. I think Eddie Reynoso and Sal have started thinking about obviously their next fight. We've put our thoughts forward. I'll head out next week to see Sal and Eddie and have a sit down and a chat with them and see what they think. I mean, I always say that he will take the option that himself and Eddie Reynoso want, the one that motivates them enough, the one that gets them excited, and hopefully that's the one with us and DAZN.
But the reports of the Bivol and Golovkin, that part of it.
It's two fights that we would be interested in looking at for DAZN, yeah.
And the counter offer from Al Heyman, your thoughts?
No idea.
Situation regarding Demetrius Andrade.
In discussions with the WBO to look at potentially moving up to 168. Normally when you move up a division you become mandatory, and in that sense he'd become mandatory to Canelo Alvarez, but the WBO, because of Zach Parker's position, are saying we would like to make Demetrius Andrade against Zach Parker for the mandatory position with the WBO. So again, it's not the defining fight that Demetrius is after, but he does need to move up at some stage, and if he can become mandatory for a big fight like that, it might appeal to him. So we're in the process of making a decision on what we're going to do.
Chocolatito against Martinez. Not bad, mate.
Just unbelievable. I mean, I was in the cinema and I got a text from Estrada's.
What were you watching? Sorry.
I was watching West Side Story. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Wouldn't recommend it personally. Kids enjoyed it. Okay. Message. Estrada had COVID 2 weeks ago, just hasn't been able to recover and get in the gym. He's not well enough. So just thought, I can't believe it. Massive fight. Tickets are flying. What we're going to do? We're going to do Ankarjas, we're going to do Joshua Franco, they're the other champions. And I just thought, do you reckon Martinez would move up and fight him? Because it was 6 weeks. He was training anyway, actually training for the week after. But he does struggle at the weight, Martinez. And I spoke to Eddie Reynoso, and he just said, I love it. He actually replied, my crazy man is ready. And obviously there was a bit of negotiations that went on after that, and it was a great deal for Martinez. And you just got an unbelievable fight. Unbelievable fight. Julio Cesar Martinez against Chocolatito. And by the way, for as much as we say fair play to Chocolatito, fair play to Martinez, fair play to Chocolatito. He's an animal, Julio Cesar Martinez. And Chocolatito says, I don't care, no fear. Let's go. I'm training for a fight, I'm ready.
Did you have an interest in Sonny Edwards and Martinez? Obviously, now Sonny Edwards is fighting Mohamed Wassim.
I replied to Sonny Edwards, this isn't about moving up to super flyweight, although if Martinez beats Chocolatito, the Estrada fight is a huge fight. But I expect him after this fight to go back down to flyweight, and we'd love to do unification with Sonny Edwards.
Let's finish off obviously by talking about February 27th. Lawrence Okolie, I just see him pop his head in somewhere. Talk to me about the card.
Good card. I mean, Okolie-Sislak is a really good fight. Obviously, we know what we wanted with Okolie. It was unification fights. But outside of that, I think this is one of the best fights in the division. One defeat to Sislak, which is against Makabu in a decent fight. Very tough. Good fighter, an elite cruiserweight. By far the toughest fight of Okolie's career so far. Obviously, you got Galal Yafai, which we talked about, going straight into a championship fight on February the 27th. Anthony Fowler's in a very good fight as well, moving up to middleweight. You've got Fabio Wardley, you've got Campbell Hatton, Galal Yafai, you've got Chev Clark making his debut on the card as well. It's a good card, good night of action, and Sunday night as well. I was quite pleased, went on sale yesterday, did some good numbers without even doing the press conference. It's just something a bit different on a Sunday. We'll start a little bit earlier. Main event will be around 9 p.m, so you're all wrapped up before 10 p.m. And going to be a big night of boxing.
Just a couple of updates. Serrano and Taylor. It was a good documentary on driving force the other day on Katie Taylor. But what's the update on that?
You can hear some news very soon.
That must mean it's happening. When you're like coy and a little bit sheepish, it means it's happening.
You'll hear very soon. And you'll be seeing Jake Paul very soon.
Oh, interesting. I spoke to Conor Ben yesterday. He said that a date of April the 23rd has been penciled in at the O2. Opponent-wise, how are you getting on with Hooker, or we mentioned Chris Van Heerden, etc.
Chris Van Heerden, Hooker, obviously mentioned the other guys as well before that, Guerrero, Broner, etc. I like the Maurice Hooker fight. I think it's a tremendous fight. There is some interest from Team Hooker, and we'll see if we can close that out. But yeah, April 23rd, 02 looks like a likely date.
Have you got anything else you'd like to say?
I'd like to just say thank you for all your support. The John Ryder, Danny Jacobs tickets are absolutely flying. We're going to have a sold-out Ali Pali of 7,000 now. Next week, we're in Phoenix for Rungvisai against Quadras for the WBC World Title. Then Jacobs. Also, Mick Conlon against Lee Wood. Tickets going to be a complete sellout.
Great card you've actually put together. Gary Cully and
Miguel Vasquez.
Very good fight.
And Sandy Ryan stepping up against Faras.
Big step up for Sandy.
Hardy against Terry Harper. Kevin Agyarko, opponent will be announced shortly. Leeds presser tomorrow. Josh Warrington, great card up there as well. Another world title fight on that card, or 2 world title fights on that card. So just flying, and a big announcement coming later today as well.
Regarding what?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Do you know after the purse bid tomorrow, can I nab you at some point over the weekend?
No.
Can I nab you over the weekend at some point?
We'll see.
Little cheeky phone.
Depends if I win it.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much.
Come and stream me straight away.
Yeah.